January 20th, on this day, in 1265, Simon de Montfort, Earl of Leicester, summoned the first English Parliament independently of royal command. The Parliament met in Westminster Hall, marking a significant moment in the development of representative government. In 1327, King Edward II of England was deposed by his eldest son, Edward III. This led to a significant shift in English royal power. In 1382, King Richard II of England married Anne of Bohemia, the daughter of the Holy Roman Emperor, at Westminster Abbey. Sadly, Anne died of plague in 1394. In 1732, Richard Henry Lee, American revolutionary patriot and signer of the Declaration of Independence, was born. In 1760, Charles III became King of Spain, marking the beginning of significant political and economic reforms in the country. In 1778, during the reign of King Kalaniʻipuʻu of the island of Hawaii, British explorer James Cook landed at Waimea on Kauai Island. Cook became the first European to visit what would later become the United States state of Hawaii. In 1783, Britain signed a peace agreement with France and Spain, who had allied against Britain in the American War of Independence. In 1841, China ceded Hong Kong to the British during the First Opium War, marking a major shift in regional control. In 1892, the first official basketball game was played in Springfield, Massachusetts by YMCA students of the game's inventor, James Naismith. In 1893, Bessie Coleman, the first African-American aviator, was born. She would go on to break barriers for women and people of color in aviation. In 1896, George Burns, a legendary comedian and actor known for his work in vaudeville, radio, television, and film, was born. In 1908, the Sullivan Ordinance was enacted in the United States, barring women from smoking in public facilities. In 1910, Joy Adamson, British author and naturalist best known for her book Born Free, was born. In 1921, the Republic of Turkey was declared from the remnants of the Ottoman Empire, reshaping the nation's history. In 1930, Dr. Edwin Buzz Aldrin, who would become the second man to walk on the moon, was born in Montclair, New Jersey. In 1935, Belgium arrested several Nazi agitators who were urging a return to the German Reich. In 1941, Adolf Hitler met with Benito Mussolini and offered support in Albania and Greece during World War II. In 1942, Nazi officials held the Wannsee Conference in Berlin to organize the so-called Final Solution, which was the planned extermination of Europe's Jewish population. In 1944, Allied forces in Italy began unsuccessful operations to cross the Rapido River and seize Cassino. In 1946, Charles de Gaulle of France handed in his resignation as head of the French government. In 1952, British troops occupied Ismailia in Egypt during the waning days of British colonial rule. In 1954, over 22,000 anti-communist prisoners were turned over to United Nations forces during the Korean War. In 1961, United States President John Fitzgerald Kennedy delivered his inaugural address, famously saying, "Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country." In 1968, actress Sharon Tate married actor and director Roman Polanski in Chelsea, London. In 1973, Amilcar Lopes Cabral was assassinated while leading efforts to secure Guinea-Bissau's independence, which was achieved the following year. In 1977, President Jimmy Carter was sworn in and surprised the nation by walking from the United States Capitol to the White House after his inauguration. In 1980, United States President Jimmy Carter announced America's boycott of the Summer Olympic Games in Moscow in response to the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. In 1981, Ronald Reagan was inaugurated as the 40th President of the United States. On the same day, the Iran hostage crisis ended as Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini released 52 Americans who had been held hostage for 15 months. In 1982, Black Sabbath frontman Ozzy Osbourne shocked audiences by biting the head off a bat during a concert in Des Moines, Iowa. In 2001, Philippine President Joseph Estrada was ousted from office following a corruption scandal and mass protests. He was later convicted of plundering, but eventually received a pardon. In 2008, the television series Breaking Bad, created by Vince Gilligan and starring Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul, premiered on AMC, becoming a defining show of the era. In 2009, Barack Obama was inaugurated as the 44th President of the United States, becoming the country's first African-American president. In 2017, Donald Trump was sworn in as the 45th President of the United States after defeating Hillary Clinton in the 2016 election. In 2020, Australian actor Liam Hemsworth and American singer Miley Cyrus divorced after 1 year of marriage. In 2021, Kamala Harris became the first woman to serve as Vice President of the United States as she took the oath of office. In 2025, Chinese startup DeepSeek launched its artificial intelligence model RI, offering capabilities similar to leading AI models, but at a much lower cost, prompting experts to call it a Sputnik moment in the AI industry.
Subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's events.